So welcome to the 18th of July at Gasper Cottage, and I'm going to define this as the point when early summer tips into high summer, possibly even towards late summer. Some of the early flowering things, the Nemophila and the Cerinthe, frankly are going over. We're probably going to need to take some out and replace them. But some of the later flowering things, the Dahlias, some of the stuff in the hotbed, all those daisy type flowers are really coming to the fore. But at the moment, there is still a wonderful sense of romance and lushness. These Penstemons have been fantastically good value, and the Ami have been a revelation for me this year. It's just a new thing in my garden and more glorious than I could have imagined. But it is the Dahlias that we're turning to for the colour at this time of year. This particular one is just brilliant. And such a vivid colour and shape. And as you look across, again, it's the Penstemons and the Ami kind of leading the way. But that Dahlia there is really picking up the pace. And as you come across, there's some very big, creamy coloured Dahlias at the back of this bed, which are stealing the show. Those little cornflowers look wonderful against a shadow behind. The cornflowers have been gorgeous. But yes, there's the big Dahlia. It's a big, creamy coloured cactus Dahlia. And in the shadows against the wall, it seems to sort of grow and crawl around. But speaking of glowing, the red bed is looking fantastic at the moment. Really vivid mix of oranges and reds. The crocosmia are in full bloom and seen against that purple foliage is just brilliant. Across the front of the house, things are a little bit calmer, but the cardoons are starting to come into flower, which is going to be fantastic. In that little shady patch, those wild flowers of various sorts, I think that's a kind of campanula, are romping away. And out in the orchard, the grasses and the wildflowers and the weeds are all busy doing their thing. And it's amazing the noise of crickets and insects and buzzing and crawling and flapping. Everything is just alive out there. Not the statue, but everything else is alive. And here the growth around the pond is now so dense that, to be honest, you can't actually see the pond until you step right close to it. And then you're able to look down onto the surface of the water and see the marginal planting and the water lilies. But you have to peek quite hard. And you don't want to get too close to these flowers because they are full of insects and bees and bumbles. The eudophyry is glorious in this late evening sun, and the different forms of the flowers, that very vertical white veronicastrum, I'm loving that. And the echinopsa are up but are still a kind of silvery colour. They'll be blue by next week, but they're steeper at the end, just catching the evening sun. But at the moment, I think they're a kind of honeybee probably, are absolutely adoring this purple veronicastrum. They are all over it. And the noise is sort of almost deafening. And this just shows the sheer mass of little flying things darting about. Up by the edge of the drive, this rather large clump of roses is having a lovely second flush of flowers. You turn your back on that and you look across to the secret garden, which is full of lush, wonderful growth. The mix of colours and shapes and sizes. The grasses in there are looking very good. That's the Carl Försterer grass. But the strong Annabelle hydrangeas are looking good. The lavender's almost over, but there is this wonderful mix of different flowers all crawling around and scrambling over itself as you look across here. And the way the shapes sort of echo the distant trees, kind of lumps and bumps. It's very good. And the path is almost obliterated at the moment with this tangle of geraniums and nautia and alliums, everything all piled in together. And the bees particularly love these allium sphericallum.